Hello! In this video, I'm sitting down with 4 different commanders to get their opinions on Guild Wars 2 endgame instance content. If you've never done raids, strikes, or fractals but always wanted to, this is the video for you. You'll hear directly from commanders on what they expect from people joining their groups, and tips to get started or even start leading your own groups. I'll also have the full interviews for each commander linked below.
I am Alaric. I lead a static group for raids and strikes.
Call me Farn or just Farn. I'm just leading raids hot, fractals, and then strikes, I only do the normal modes.
My name is Tori. I also go by Zyra in game, and I usually lead raids and strike CMs.
Hello, I'm Coneg. You can call me Con, and I'm a Raid Academy instructor and a Skyn Gang static raid caller.
So let's start things off. How did you get into commanding?
I became commander of the static around a year after the founding in 2017. It was a continuous group for about that first year, and then a lot of people left the game for one reason or another, and I was nominated as the new commander, notably without consultation.
What made you want to keep going and be like, all right, fine, I will do this?
I don't know. Mama didn't raise no quitter, I suppose. Okay, fine, you've given me this job, fine, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna show that I can do it.
And I'm gonna do it for 7 years.
It took me a while to start to making groups. I think it was 1 year or maybe 1.5 years to start to playing raids and fractals. I was so afraid to play like a stance content. I see other streamers, but they were good at the game, so I was afraid to do things wrong. But I was so annoyed that I never could find the groups that I want to play, that I was like, okay, I need to change that. I know the fights, I can express myself in English a little bit, so I'll just start making my own groups.
We had another leader. That person decided to, step back from Guild Wars and focus on his career. And he contacted actually 3 of us. So for a while there, we actually led all 3 of us. My profession is a teacher, so I'm used to saying all my stuff and leading in that way. It's honestly why I love doing training raids. It does make it easier. I can make my vocals almost go on autopilot because I'm used to modeling and very verbally saying what I'm doing and demonstrating and stuff like that.
So my group meets weekly Tuesdays for 3 hours. I started just kind of as a DPS, but the group was there was a lot of camaraderie, and so it's really easy to kind of feel like I was fitting in with the group, and then eventually I kind of became more comfortable with calling things out. I sort of, quote, took over shot calling when we tried to push for faster, because sometimes some chatter gets in the way of fast clears. And so I was kind of the voice behind everyone being like, guys, let's go, guys, let's speed up. And then on Raid Academy, I'm an instructor there, and I like to try and get 1 training in a week.
What expectations do you have when somebody joins your group?
This is a very easy answer. It is, don't lower our odds of success.
2 biggest things. 1, don't kill the team regularly. 2, just at least be higher DPS than the healers. I mean, I definitely would prefer you to be higher DPS than the supports, but sometimes, especially for pulling for bugs, you gotta take what you can get.
Yeah, that's a low bar for easy fights. You just have to be a warm body, and sometimes not even that. If it's an easy enough encounter, if you die right away, it's fine. We can finish it with 9 people.
In my group, usually I'll include some comedic line, like I mentioned earlier, like ping boots or, big PP DPS, because usually the only people that respond to those would be people that are comfortable with themselves in their rotation. But as far as what I expect, I try to make it clear in my post. If it's not clear in my post, then you're gonna get the wrong people joining.
If I'm posting the experience tab, I expect that you clear like at least 5 times to know the mechanics. I will not be mad with low DPS but I expect that you do the mechanics correctly, and I don't have to explain the fight for you.
We do a decent amount of older stuff, and a lot of older stuff is not that hard, so the expectations are very low. I don't bother asking for kill proof, for example.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, most content, especially raids and stuff, let's be real, we're going to be able to make it 9-man, right? As long as they're not halting or impeding on our capabilities of finishing the raids by messing too many mechanics up, and of course, not being rude.
It's a much higher bar on more difficult fights. If people are causing us to wipe, to fail the encounter, whether that's through failing key mechanics, whether we're not making important, let's say, damage checkpoints, then that can be an issue.
What about for training runs? What do you expect from brand new players?
For draining specifically, as long as they have a close to meta build, if you have full exotics and it's at least full berserkers, if you're doing power, etc. like that, then that is completely fine.
When I'm hosting a training, I expect that they have a raid build. So something somewhat similar to something on Snow Crows, ideally gear and exotics at a minimum. Usually people don't realize they need food. It's like 20% DPS. It's a lot of damage. That's kind of it. We kind of usually take care of the rest. We'll do sub-sorting, we'll do mechanics, instruction, all that sort of thing.
I very much make sure to say hey, we're going to post the logs at the end. Don't worry about what DPS marks you're trying to hit and stuff. But it's a good way for them to see the reference. But we tend to focus on our training races learning the mechanics first. I feel like DPS is something that will come after you learn the mechanics, because if you don't know mechanics, your DPS is going to be bad anyways, because you're going to be teleported away from the boss half the time and stuff like that. So get the mechanics first, DPS will figure it out later.
In training, it's really important to allow people to make mistakes and to create an environment where people are comfortable making mistakes, because if they don't make mistakes, they're not learning.
Do you have any pug pet peeves?
One thing that I hate more in the game than LFG, it's high DPS. During this week, I was low in Blue Shard, so I tried to make a lot of IBS 5. It was taking me 20 minutes just to get booms. And then you go for looking for DPS, you get 6 people in 4 minutes. People don't play healer, don't play boom DPS. Some of the healer builds are so much easier than DPS. Why are you afraid to play boom?
One is joining and then not doing anything. You join the squad and then you don't say anything, you don't go anywhere. That's annoying. Not communicating is a big one. Whether that's communicating hey, I'm just grabbing this, then I'll be coming over, or communicating, oh, I'm gonna swap to this build. Communicating, hey, I don't actually know this encounter that well. I looked at a guide, but I haven't done this before. That is very appreciated. The opposite is not very appreciated. Generally speaking, I will cut people slack if they have not done a fight, but they already know it to some extent. It'd be hypocritical of me to do otherwise, because I got a lot of my first kills back in the day by lying about having already done the encounter.
Be honest about your experience. Be honest about what you're capable of doing. Don't join an LFG that's supposed to be experienced. Always I'm hey, I don't know if you know it's an LFG, but we did ask for experience. And as long as they don't come back at me, getting mad at me for kicking them after just a miscommunication, that's just be honest and be nice.
The only pet peeve I would have is misalignment of expectations or flaming outright. There's kind of no need for that. If there's a mismatch, just say, hey guys, I'm looking for fast clears. Is that what we're doing here? And if they say yes, then stick it out. Hopefully they're just having a rough patch. But yeah, there's no need to just go right to flaming.
What leads you to kick somebody from your squad, and how often does that happen?
I kick people if I'm looking for booms and they join as DPS and they just say, I'm a DPS, can I wait here? I just say, no, I'm looking for booms. You can join after.
I've kicked people for being toxic before, either one way or another, whether we're going too fast for them and I say hey, I think there might be a misalignment, can I ask you to leave? Or if we're going too slow for them and they say, why are you guys doing this? Why aren't you doing this? I'll calmly ask them, I'll say hey, this is our group where we're at. Please, bear with us while we learn. And then sometimes they've blown up at people in my static and I say that's it. I'm asking you to leave, and then I kick them.
I have definitely kicked people, especially for toxicity. That's the number one reason why I'm going to kick someone. If they're being rude or anything like that, I'm sorry. I just don't have patience for it. We're all adults. We don't need to be rude about anything.
I wouldn't really say that happens often. I can think of one time when I've kicked someone for being toxic to my team. I don't think I've ever kicked anyone for being too bad. I'll just bear it, and usually that's a sign that my LFG wasn't clear enough.
I don't kick people very often. It does happen. If there's a pug who I think is just significantly detrimental to our ability to succeed at what we're doing, probably going to replace them.
If they are like constantly wiping us at a boss or something like that, it's just not going to work. At that point, you're halting 9 other people from being able to pass the raid, and that's not fair to the other 9 people in the squad.
I'm gonna ask, hey, this experience group, are you experienced? Do you have experience? You're just nervous? What is happening? Then they leave, but I will whisper them, oh, it's not a problem. When you become experienced, please join my group.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times it's not really personal. It can feel very personal if you're on the receiving end, especially if you're a new player. But it really is just about making sure that you understand what group you joined. If you just join and pretend you're experienced and then start failing a lot, you're much more likely to get kicked. Whereas if you start by communicating and setting those expectations, a lot of commanders are going to be okay with that.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I'm like a million times more lenient if someone's honest about their experience.
Mm-hmm.
I do always message people when I kick them about why I've done it.
I always whisper them first. I'm so sorry, but this is really hurting the rest of the group. Please let me know if you ever need help in the future and stuff like that.
If you kick people, like, say nothing, they'll never join any group. And we lost a player forever.
Do you have any advice for people that want to start getting into instance group content for the first time, but have a lot of anxiety over it, are scared of joining, maybe don't know where to start, anything like that?
What I think everyone should have arc DPS kind of baseline. If you're doing instance content and you're not using it, you're kind of unable to judge your performance, and that's a large problem because a lot of people care about performance to a certain extent. They don't really care that you do 40k DPS, but they do care that you're not doing 4k DPS.
The game does a bad job saying that you are not a good player or that you are doing something bad. Like, if you kill the boss, the game just says, okay, you are a great player, here's your reward. It's not that people are not willing to help, but you need to want to improve.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of feedback from the game. You have to get it from outside sources, DPS meter, practicing on the golem, people telling you mechanics, people telling you like, hey, our boon up time wasn't very good. Like, you wouldn't know that without outside resources. It contributes to the big step up from going from casual play into instance content. It just feels like there's such a large gap in knowledge.
Yes.
www.snowcrows.com. They have raid builds, they have open world builds, they have raid guides, they have arc DPS setup, they have golem guides. Anything you could want is on there. There's like a how to form parties as well, like a little commander guide in there as well.
It helps a lot with anxiety of like, oh, I don't want to stick out. I don't want to like let the group down. If you know that you are doing your role well, you've seen a guide for the encounter you've studied your build a little bit, you've tried it out in the like special forces training area, you will probably be better than several other people in a training environment. And I think that can help take the edge off. Because if someone's going to be getting heat, it's not going to be you.
So after you've gone and read www.snowcrows.com, I would recommend you hop in with your raid build and your raid gear, and you do some kind of normal mode strike with it. You should have arc DPS on. You should be saying, am I doing a little bit of damage? And if you are, great. Just go into a raid group now.
The other thing, it is a group activity, so you will have to get involved with a group, even if you are anxious about doing so. but a lot of this does take place outside the game in guilds and in community Discord servers.
I saw people in the game talking about Scan Gang. I saw Snipe talking about the stream. I joined their community and then I joined my first static group. So like if you're a new player, you need to start Kiark to have a feedback for how you are playing and then try to join a community.
Definitely join a training Discord and feel free to do like whatever type of Discord matches your time and stuff better. Raid Academy, that is very like popular, a lot bigger community, has a lot more opportunities and stuff. So if you are on a time constraint, that might be a great resource for you to join. If you want like a smaller training like Discord or something, just keep an eye on the training LFG because that's usually where you'll see those popped up sometimes.
A lot of the raiding community is outside the game. It's another barrier, I think, for players wanting to make that jump. You have to kind of go out of your way to see external guides or join a training group that's usually external on a Discord.
It might not be for the best that all this stuff has sort of moved out of the game, but it has.
I have a special message for Brazilians because we Brazilians tend to like play only by ourselves because we are afraid to speak English. You just need to get in, guys. Like you don't need to speak with them. You just need to try to listen. Even if you don't understand, try to learn about the fight beforehand and just have a great time, guys.
Do you have any advice for somebody who wants to start commanding?
Run every week. If you have 5 people, if you have 2 people, run every week. Because the second that you stop running, you say, oh, we have 6. That's not really enough. We'll call it this week. People start to feel unmotivated. They don't really want to show up. And then, maybe it's been 2-3 weeks since they've raided. They're like, I'll just not join the group anymore.
In the early days, if people couldn't join for a period, they're like, hey, I have to do this thing. I won't really be able to join consistently for 2 months. I would try to hold a spot for them. That's a bad idea. So my advice to any would-be commanders out there, don't do that. Your probably most important priority is to try to ensure a stable, full group.
I absolutely prefer to co-lead with someone. It makes it a lot easier rather than having all the like different things and components that you have to do on one person. It makes it much easier to be like, hey, you be in charge of finding fills this week. I'll be in charge of calls and making sure and finding backups. So I always recommend trying to find a co-lead.
You can work around people not showing up because life happens. Call it a bus factor. How many people can get hit by a bus until you guys can't run? It's not uncommon for 2 people to not show up to raid night. If those are the 2 people that can do everything in your group, you guys aren't going to run. And like I said, running is the most important thing to keeping a group together.
I changed my mind when I started doing these tag ups in the LFG because I was thinking that if I was the commander, I had to explain everything for everyone every time. But I think behavior like that, you are encourage people to join experienced group without have the experience. If I'm posting the experience tab, I don't have to explain the fight for you because this is not a training session. And I shift my mentality to expect a little bit more of the players.
Be patient with each other because everyone learns in a different way. This might be the teacher coming out in me. Some people like learn through spreadsheets. That's me. Well, some people they will not understand a concept until they are in it and they visually see it and they die from it. Just know that it's going to take some time for some people.
Like different people do want different things out of the group, and including you as the commander, you have your own agenda, but it's sort of trying to manage and keep everything aligned and sort of making sure that people are broadly getting what they want. It's sort of how you retain members.
There are people that are playing the game with LFG open, just waiting for someone to tag up. They are so afraid to be the leader, and like you don't need to do anything as a leader. If it's not a training group, it's an experienced group, people will balance itself out.
It's not really about barking orders at people as much as it is saying, hey guys, let's go kill this boss together, let's have fun, and let's come back again next week.
It's so much more a social role than it is a technical role. Really what you're doing is you're keeping a group of 10 players together and focused and working on the same thing and relatively happy.
Yeah, 100%. You're 60% morale, 40% mechanics. Just as much managing people as it is managing a raid.
That doesn't really come across unless you've joined a lot of squads or you have led something yourself or you're embedded into the community. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to make this video and talk with different commanders is I feel like a lot of players don't have access to this community or they feel like they don't have access to this community. By having these conversations, we can kind of bring some of these insights to a portion of the player base that might not otherwise see them.
If you are tagging up for the first time, I advise you to do IBS 3 or IBS 5 just to lose the fear of tagging up. They are so much easy to do, and you don't need to explain those fights, especially IBS 3. So if you're afraid, just do that one to see what happens, and you'll see it'll just be fine.
As long as you know, sort of generally where to stand, that's good enough. I think a lot of people get hung up on the whole commanding thing about, I don't know enough information, blah, 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 and it's because they want to do well at it. And the only way to do well is to kind of begin.
Do you have any fun stories about raids?
Okay, I do have a specific one in mind that this made me think about and that always makes me laugh. Twisted Castle pre-event of Zera. There's one space where players use a mobility skill to jump over a chasm. And we just have a clip of 4 people failing it one after the other and just laughing harder each time. And it.
Alright. Fucking don't screw it up, golden boy.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
One down, boy.
I don't have.
Is that the right spot?
Yeah, we have 2 more dragon hunters. We can do this.
Oh! How? Legend.
Killed Sunder. That was good.
It's like a suicide pact.
It's a very fond memory.
I can remember one time we put up a Veil Guardian or Sabbatha ping or LFG, and it was like, Sabbatha LF anyone, because we were just like, whatever, we're gonna 9% it anyways, might as well grab someone. And we had a core ranger join and do 4k DPS, but they did all the mechanics right, and that's our hero. So that's got to be the highlight. That's probably one of my favorites.
One of my favorite things that my group does is for my Trincium, during the bomb phase where you have to go into a circle, one of our static members will close his eyes and I have to guide him, say left, right to get him to the circle. Stop. Left. Straight, stop.
Okay, that was more than a 90-degree turn, sir.
Stop. Right a little.
What was that?
I'm trying to turn with my camera.
That was close. But that's also what keeps the group together is fun stuff like that. Just be able to take these raids and make them more than just a DPS race. Make it a fun moment for the group.
One was our group was really struggling on Deimos, and we got to the final 10% where you go to the dark room and everything, and you're trying to fight the big Deimos. Through a comedy of errors, everybody except one person died. We were all rooting and cheering for them. They were panicking, but they managed to get the kill at the end, and it was a big celebratory moment.
Okay, this one's gonna hit. Why is everyone dying?
Because I was reviving and I got knocked back by a
Oh
I
no!
got knocked back
Oh
into
my god!
hands.
Wait, what are you gonna?
Just DPS, just DPS.
Raz, you gotta attack him.
Oh my god!
Oh
my
god!
God.
Who's that?
2%. How much
Okay,
HP is that?
That's
How
a
much
lot.
HP is that?
It's a lot.
1%. Saul, you got this.
That's right.
Oh, increase damage. You can do it. Increase damage.
Watch out for the hands. Watch out for the hands.
Run, no! Run, you got
You have increased damage.
I'm trying. Jesus Christ! Oh my god! Oh my god! Ah! Oh my god!
Don't do anything stupid. Play it safe.
I'm
Play
trying.
it safe.
There's
You
too
have so
many
much
things.
time.
You have 4 minutes to kill him.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything else you want to hear commanders talk about, and feel free to leave your own advice or favorite stories down in the comments below.